All right, everyone. So it's time to go through the Colts running back situation. You look at the top. We know what the top is. There's no question about it. We know JT. We love JT. And to put into perspective of how good Jonathan Taylor is, I mean, he's second in the league since he's been drafted in 2020 in rushing yards, only behind Derrick Henry. He's played about 10 less games yet. He's only, he's not that far behind him in rushing yards. And I mean, he's just been ultra effective. And, on top of, him being 10 games behind Derrick Henry, on top of those games that he missed, he's still played injured quite a bit. He just hasn't been able to stay healthy. And that's the big question I was just talking about with this room is who can come in to be that consistent relief, that reliable guy that we know you can put in there, be like, hey, he can come in for JT once in a while. Hey, he can catch the ball in the backfield. And, hey, he can even run the ball, just a change of pace kind of a guy. And we have those. We're going to have options this year with additions of Khalil Herbert and DJ Giddens. But let's start at the top. Jonathan Taylor. I mean, I don't really need to say too much. I think he has a potential. His potential is higher than Saquon Barkley when he's fully healthy, firing on all cylinders. I mean, he makes himself so small and can get, if you give Jonathan Taylor any space, he's going to take it and he's going to be gone. He could juke you out of your shoes. He could stiff arm you into the dirt. He could run you over. There's not anything that Jonathan Taylor can do. And I think that this year, Jonathan Taylor is going to break his single season receiving yards record. And I think he's going to get 400 plus receiving yards. Really believe so, especially if Daniel Jones wins a spot, and I think Daniel Jones is going to win the starter job. A quarterback that is familiar to having a running back that can catch the ball in the backfield when healthy, Saquon Barkley. So Daniel Jones has had no shortage of great running backs in his career. Coming to Indianapolis, it's going to be no different. And John Taylor, as long as he gets to stay healthy, play the full season, even with other backs in the backfield, with other solid options, I still believe that Jonathan Taylor can break the single season receiving record. I think Jonathan Taylor can have a huge year as long as he's fully healthy. There's a lot going for this team. So the only cons I really have for Jonathan Taylor are the injury and, his injury history. And you could also point towards the wear and tear, which kind of, they go both coincide with each other, kind of go with each other. But I mean, he had all those carries in college, and a lot of people pointed that before he even came to the NFL. So now you're kind of wondering, is his body starting to break down already? I don't think so. I just think it's been a matter of he's been the workhorse. He hasn't had a relief, and that's what we're going to get into next. I mean, you have DJ Giddens and you have Khalil Herbert. I think Khalil Herbert is going to be the running back 2, the backup. There might not even be a clear-cut running back 2 going into the regular season. I think that Khalil Herbert and DJ Giddens are... I think Khalil Herbert can maybe be the running back 2 for the first couple weeks, the clear-cut RB2, but I think DJ Giddens will come into his own as the season comes along. There are a couple of things Giddens has to work on, but let's talk about Khalil Herbert and put the spotlight on him for the moment before we get to Giddens. Herbert... what he has over Giddens is experience, obviously. He's been explosive. Heck, at one point in his career, he did challenge Montgomery. It was widely known as like a running back competition, and some people that Khalil Herbert had a higher ceiling than David Montgomery over in Chicago. And look at David Montgomery now with the Lions. It just goes to show you the potential that Khalil Herbert has. He is very efficient when he has the ball. I don't think he... he has fumbled a couple times here and there. You could kind of point towards the fumbles, be like, hey, he fumbles a little bit, but at the end of the day, everyone fumbles, and I don't think it's going to be an issue coming to Indianapolis. But he's going to be an awesome change of pace guy. He's explosive. He's got the experience. He's very efficient. I have my old-fashioned notebook here. I use Google Docs, but I like the old-fashioned notebook, writing things down. When you write things down, a little tip, kids watching, going to school or whatever, when you write things down, it really sticks in the brain more and you remember it more, and it's just good. It's just better to just write it down sometimes. Sometimes you can be a little more creative when writing in a notebook as well. But, yeah, he could be a good change of pace. He's like a better version of Jordan Wilkins. You know how Jordan Wilkins came in and he always had those crazy runs? Like for some reason, every time Wilkins took the ball, he always had a 20-plus yard run. It was really weird. He was just that explosive. You could also say point towards him. He didn't get many carries. He was just put in at the right time. That could be pointed to good coaching and good just changing the guys around, getting some other guys. And that was when Marlon Mack was here, and then he was here for a couple years after, and he went to Jacksonville, went to a couple other places, and he ultimately ended back up with Indianapolis again last year. I'm not sure if you really caught that, but like I said, his yard, he's very efficient. But he is a better version of Jordan Wilkins, which is exciting, But I think he has a much higher ceiling than Jordan Wilkins had. His yards per carry is very high throughout his career. I believe he had like two, every year that he was graded above 70, above a 70 overall PFF grade. Oh, and that's for JT as well. I completely forgot to mention that about Jonathan Taylor. His PFF grades, his overall PFF grades were phenomenal when he was fully healthy. Even when he was injured, he had 70 pluses. One year, last year, he didn't. Kind of injured on and off, but I mean, it is what it is. But back to Khalil Herbert, just had to throw it in there because I did write that down. I wanted to say that. But Khalil Herbert, all I really had to say about him, he's a great option to take the load off JT. While DJ Giddens gets accustomed to the NFL, the Colts really set themselves up for success in the running back room. We'll talk about Tyler Goodson and Solomon Ahmed in a couple of minutes here. But Khalil Herbert, good addition and free agency. And then we have DJ Giddens. He's 6'1", 212, 4.4. He has a 4.43 40 time. 40 time isn't always everything. You could play quick and not be fast. That makes sense. When you know the game, you're a good player. You play quick. Just the point I'm trying to get at here is that you don't need a great 40 time. But that is a really good 40 time on top. I just want to say that is a good 40 time. Just saying that some people sometimes just put too much stock into the 40 time. But I think he's going to start the season as running back 3. I think we're going to hear a lot of really strong things, in training camp about him. And I'm excited about that. I'm excited to have, the potential guy that's going to take over for Jonathan Taylor in a couple years. Like I said, I think he's going to be an awesome running back 2. I think right away it's going to be Herbert, but Giddens is going to be thrown in the mix as the season goes on. I think as the season goes on, I think Giddens will maybe he won't be the clear-cut running back 2, but I think he would be more known as, hey, Giddens is a running back 2. He is that good. And you know how I was saying all those good things about Khalil Herbert. Well, Giddens is just has that much potential, and he is that good. He can be that good. So this running back room, there's a lot to it. There's a lot of meat on the bones in this running back room. And Giddens, I mean, he's going to need to develop his receiving area of his game. Didn't really do too much receiving in Kansas State. But it is what it is. He has a potential for, the little experience he had coming from high school. He did a very good job in the receiving game, but his options might need to be refined. He does, have some basic route knowledge and that kind of stuff. But that's why he's going to be running back 3 for the first couple of weeks, but he'll learn fast. He's shown that he's coachable because he did learn the receiving part of the game pretty quickly and pretty, he has natural hands as well. Is that all I really have? Let's check my notes here. Oh, every year in college, I mean, he had 5.5 yards or more in terms of, rushing yards per carry, which is pretty strong. 1,200 plus yards his last 2 years, his sophomore and junior year, really good. So he brings some explosiveness, and he brings a lot of potential. He brings a lot of potential to this running back room and potentially take over running back 2 or just be another really strong piece to help JT, kind of relieve JT. JT has some awesome relief options. And that's exactly what the Colts needed, what JT needed, try to keep him healthy throughout the season instead of just killing him. And he could take it on, but he's had quite a few injuries lately, and it's as the sport is, the running back is especially a physical position. Constantly getting hit, you're constantly in trenches, constantly, running through or running near 300 plus pound guys who are just all muscle and the strongest of the strong, fit of the fit. So it's the physicality of the position. It puts a wear and tear on these running backs. Next, we had Tyler Goodson. Let's see, Tyler Goodson. there's a reason why the Colts brought in names like Khalil Herbert, DJ Giddens. They went to free agency and they went to the draft, and then they dipped into the undrafted free agents and Bennett. So there or Bentley. There's a reason why the Colts did that. That's because Tyler Goodson has not been able to be that relief, to be that running back that can come in and perform when Jonathan Taylor needs a breather, But now that we have a couple other guys that can potentially step in for a couple plays, Tyler Goodson became a liability at times. His rush per carries weren't isn't the best. He's just wasn't able to bring it. Wasn't able to be that consistent relief for JT. He wasn't able to take that role by the horns. So, and remember the drop he had in the big game versus the Texans. That was a big opportunity. I mean, he just hasn't been able to see his momentum to be running back two, to be that consistent option to help JT get a breather, just to keep JT from being on the field so often. So, and Jonathan Taylor has had injuries. He's had opportunities. He's had the chances as Jonathan Taylor has been on and off the field. Just hasn't been able to do it. Hasn't been able to take it. And then you have Salvin Ahmed. He's bounced around the league. He started with the Dolphins. He was with the Dolphins for a couple of years, to the Broncos, and was with the Broncos and the Colts in the same year last year. He's been bouncing around, but doesn't really, he would be in running back 3 territory, or no, running back 4 territory. Goodson and Ahmed and Bentley would be fighting for running back 4, because I really think running back 2 and 3, we all know 1 is set in stone. 2 and 3 are pretty much set in stone, I believe. It may be a bold take to say that a 5th round pick is a guaranteed roster spot. I'm not really guaranteeing this, but I'm just saying that with the potential of Giddens and with what we've seen on the field and the educated guesses and the educated ways that we can look at this and be like, hey, this is Khalil Herbert's and DJ Giddens' spot to lose. I don't see Salvin Ahmed. I don't see Tyler Goodson or Bentley winning running back 3. I think Giddens, like I said, I think it's going to be JT obviously 1. You're going to have Herbert at the beginning of the season be running back 2, and Giddens be 3. There's too much potential in Giddens. He's going to have a strong camp. Was really good in college. He has a lot of good NFL traits. He's a natural player. He just, the sport has come naturally to him, which is important. It's big. Herbert just has experience. He could bring the explosiveness, and he's going to be, the guy right there right away who will be running back 2 right away. Maybe Giddens just shock and take running back 2 right away. But point being put out there is I really don't think there's going to be a running back 4. So I don't think Ahmed is going to make the roster. I don't think Goodson's going to make the roster. These guys might be kept, as practice squad guys. Like Bentley is definitely going to be a practice squad guy, most definitely. Bentley is probably maybe a running back 3 with some teams, but with the Colts, he wouldn't even be making 4 if we did keep 4. That would probably be Ahmed or Goodson. I would take Ahmed over Goodson. So that's kind of all I got for you. I mean, I talked about Bentley a little bit there, but he was with Ole Miss, a couple big players at Ole Miss, bright lights, SEC. He was with SMU before that, so he moved up, which is a good sign. He's improved, but his production was never really crazy in college. This is Bentley we're talking about, and he's just not going to make the Colts. Even if there was a running back 4, I don't think he'd make it just because of the depth and what the Colts have here at the position. So that's the Colts running back room for you. The last couple of guys, not really too much to say, because really the meat and the potatoes of this video is talking about who is going to relieve Jonathan Taylor and kind of take a little bit of the load off JT. JT's still our number 1 go-to guy, but you need people who can step in and give him a break, and not so you don't have to overwork JT. So then by the end of the season, he's tired or he's getting hurt or he's already showing signs of just having too many injuries. So if he could stay healthy, this running back room has the potential to be the best room in the NFL really does. So you guys let me know anything about this running back room. That's my take. That's my analysis. This is what I have for you. And that's all I got for you guys. So this is the JDW. This is Jason. Appreciate you stopping by the Horseshoe Hustle segment brought to you by the JDW Sports Network. That was a lot to say. Maybe definitely too much, but Horseshoe Hustle is your favorite Colts podcast, is your favorite Colts segment on YouTube. So stick around, hit that like, subscribe button. I appreciate if you do. And I'll catch you guys next time.